Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today we have a pretty crazy game in the Florida for you. We get a double strike, we get a Kraken, there's even a solo warrior on the table. So if that sounds good, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to see videos like this early, we did turn memberships back on the channel. So we do have an early access tier. We have a just kind of supporting tier, and we even have a producer tier where your name will be in the credits of every video. So if any of that sounds interesting, make sure you join along. But today, what I want to talk about is Takanashi Hoshino, the new Blue Archive commander for the Americans, and why she is just so broken for the American battleships, and basically how Florida now is actually decent, because let's be clear, Florida has been the laughing stock of the American battleships, I feel like, for a long time, especially considering its premium status. And it's a ship, because it's my home state, I feel a special connection to. So to now have a commander that makes it somewhat decent is very exciting. So what do you need to know? Well, Florida, long reload, 3 quadruple 356s at tier 6, which is pretty interesting, and it's a time. So there's that. Now, let's talk about this build that gives us, anywhere between 30 and 35% reload reduction on an American battleship, because that is the crazy bit here, and that is what is going to carry us through this game. So, as we were talking about, it's Hoshino. We are using 2 inspirations, Azure Lane, Colorado, a maxed out one, and Palo di Revel, both of those focused on reload time. Colorado helps with dispersion just a tad. Then we get into Hoshino's base trait. It's going to help with main battery reload by a little, help with main battery survivability, and also help with rudder shift time. All useful things. All of those very useful, and sort of a little bit brawlery, but also basically giving you brawlery stats. But then we get into her first trait, which is Flammable Cannoneer. We get the main battery range and main battery shell grouping at the cost of extra fire. But this is important. This is kind of what makes Hoshino so useful. Right now, in the World of Warships Legends meta, it is very much a range-driven meta, right? Battleships like to bow tank from the back of the map, and if you don't have the range, you suffer. That's why usually when you see me run a brawler build, I have Megatron on there as an inspiration to kind of half down the penalty of taking brawler, because of course brawler takes away 10%, and then most of the time if you're not running brawler, you're running Flammable Cannoneer, which is an extra 8% range, which adds up. There's a large differential between main battery ranges. Suffice to say, if you aren't doing things great or correct, or I should say, if you don't have Flammable Cannoneer, you do feel at a significant disadvantage, because you just don't have the range, and you can just get kind of hit by a lot of things, especially given the range of the cruise. Also, this Icarus pops up right here. I'm like, oh, did you think you would just hide away? Okay, there we go. He's taken out. Anyways, that's the first skill. The next skill is a very interesting one, called Dance with Death. We've seen it before, but it is pretty powerful. It's maxed out. Basically, for every percentage of damage that you take, you are going to gain a little bit of reload. At 50% health, you'll gain 8% to your reload. So when you're near death, you're looking at an extra 16%, which is wild. Of course, you don't want to stay down there long. You're going to be very vulnerable. Kind of 50% is kind of what I feel is the happy place. Then we move on down, you get Megalomania, more main battery reload, and also you're going to drop off the map sooner when after firing, which is very useful because you do have the range, which means if you can keep people at a certain range, you're going to fall off right around when your guns are ready to go, so you can choose when to engage. Also incredibly powerful. Then we get into the Wombo combo of having Master Mechanic for 2 extra heals and being able to equip Fully Packed, which is another massive buff, giving you, on a lot of American battleships, 6 heals, which is absolutely insane while maintaining a lot of the damage that we were seeing before. So, yeah, Hoshino, man, she's absolutely crazy. Uh, she's definitely become one of my go-tos for the American battleships. That, with that all said, we are now getting into the interesting part of this match. You saw us clear out B. We took out that New Orleans, and we took out the destroyer. Well, we didn't take out the New Orleans, but we definitely assisted in taking out the New Orleans, and we now just have this California. The rest of our team off to the left-hand side, struggling a little bit. So we're going to see what we can do. I don't want to pull out into the channel as of quite yet, because then those two cruisers will have line of sight of me. And I kind of want to get this California done in dust. And you can see we've switched over to the HE just to try to knock out and get some fires to get them to burn down. Just because while the sides of a California are very shell trappy and they can do well, I think it's best just to try and get whatever damage, whatever guaranteed damage we can do. And a lot of time, that's going to be the HE. As our friend, I forget which Japanese cruiser is behind us, if it's the tier 5 or the tier 6, if it's an Aoba or what, but we're fairly confident. Yep, there it goes. Aoba takes out California. We grind the side of our ship up against the island. It's barnacle cleaning. We were cleaning the barnacles off the ship, and now we have the broadside of this Devonshire, and we are breaking out to try to exploit new angles, and that's exactly what you're going to do. And you're going to see we're already down to a 24-second reload, which is pretty good for Florida. And this is kind of what I will say kind of feels like should have come with Florida to begin with, given that we're at tier 6 and you know, there's some long reloads out there, and I don't know if you've noticed, but our guns aren't exactly the most accurate out there. But hey, that's all for a different time. But you can see we are burning one of our next heals, and we are now going to just try to position ourselves to take down as many of these guys as possible. Right now, game is tied. We are up on points, but as far as team layout goes, as far as where everyone is across the map, it's not looking the best for us. But if we can take out these cruisers, we may be able to do some damage. And we're kind of keeping an eye on Devonshire, because we know, like, he can try and do some things, but I'm fairly confident in our ability to handle him when we need to. It's more important for us to exploit when, for example, Prince Heinrich is broadside to us, because that's going to give us much better damage results. As Pensacola, also a notoriously not stable or not rugged ship, also begins to engage us, and we will absolutely take it. I will say the American AP of the Florida is very much overpenning on these cruisers, which is kind of to be expected. And if you notice, we are now down to just us and the Aoba with 5 of the enemy left. Heinrich concentrating on the Aoba, so we're going to try while we still have that teammate up. Okay, well, he's down now. We're going to try to do some extra damage to him and come out here. We did, thankfully, dodge that those torpedoes from the Devonshire, and we can see he's kind of firing right on over the corner here, and we're going to go ahead and aim for just the edge right here, and 6 overpens. Which means he cannot be having much health remaining in him, as we are slowly being whittled down in our health. But hey, you know what? That's okay. That's going to help us with our reload, as Pensacola also pops up right here. Can we take him down? Nope, but we are going to pick up the Confederate. And what we're doing is we're just kind of trying to keep a little bit of our distance from the island. We saw that Devonshire back out, and we already saw him drop 2 of his torpedoes, and they were weirdly staggered, which tells me he's in single fire mode, which means there could be one more torpedo on the way for us right now. So I kind of want to get out and try to pie out this island slowly, because, well, now we have 2 cruisers playing Ring Around the Rosie with us, with 4 minutes left in the game, and we know both of them are a sneeze, a shell away from death. So our main concentration now is going to be these battleships. As we line up our next shot on Heinrich, we're going to flip over to the HE. Reason for this is twofold. One, he's kind of going nose into us, so we want to be able to do some damage to him. But also, he's a German battlecruiser. It's late in the game. In theory, hopefully, he's been hit with HE and stuff all throughout the game, which means if we can get his fire set on him, hopefully he doesn't have any of those damage control parties left over, or he's going to run very low. So we're going to go ahead, hit the HE on him. He's going to start a fire, and I notice he's not putting it out. So I'm like, okay, looks like we got a permanent fire on him. Pensacola getting bold right here. 5 seconds left on our reload as we take a decent hit from Heinrich. We're going to use our front two guns to knock him out. Heinrich looking good. Pensacola goes down, and then we get Heinrich to burn out for the double strike, bringing us up to 118,000 damage. And a Scharnhorst B is charging us with very little health to go. Well, you know what that means. We already have the HE loaded, so we're going to continue going that. He does drop spot. We're going to go ahead, fire the guns on what we think is going to be about where he was going to go. He's going to fire back, and we'll fire our rear gun, still trying to give this island a little bit of a whatchamacallit, what is it called? Like, staying away from it just a little, because we know that Devonshire is here, and we know he's going to be very low, but we don't want him to come out when we are flat-footed without any guns and he's able to torp us. So we're going to proceed giving a little bit of a berth to the island, knowing that Scharnhorst is fairly low. Scharnhorst pops up. We still have the HE loaded. He's bowing. That's kind of to be expected. And American or I should say Florida accuracy letting us down there. Scharnhorst with tens of health left. Like it really can't be much that this Scharnhorst has left as far as health to go, as he's also doing HE towards us, which I do find a little bit odd. But hey, we will take it as he goes down there. AP salvo flies in, and we are not ready for it. Oh no, it's HE. Disregard. And it's the New Mexico, which unfortunately a large chunk of health remaining. So let's see how we handle this, as we are down to a 24-second reload on those main guns. Nice, we get a fire on that, and we flip on over to the AP because he does look like he is somewhat angled, and hopefully he's been seeing us fire HE, and he's like, oh, he's never going to fire AP again. I can turn broadside. It will be fine. And that's exactly what we want him to think, as we go ahead and fire this salvo right here. And hello, Devonshire. We throw it into full forward just in case he has those torpedoes at the ready. We get 2 Citadels off on the New Mexico. Devonshire is going to start chunking us, unfortunately, right here. And we just need those secondaries to hit. We just need any of them to finish him off. Come on, secondaries. Looks like we're going to have to use the main guns. Use one, get the close quarter, get the Kraken, and, well, now we're on to New Mexico. But Devonshire took away too much of our health. New Mexico already has a shot out, and, well, we're not going to be surviving that with only 16 seconds left in the game. But, guys, that is the upgraded Florida with Hoshino. Like I said, I think she is incredibly powerful, and there's a reason I'm using her on a lot of my ships. Well, there we have it. Anyways, guys, if you like videos like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.